Okay, we've got another fork recall. This time BMC. So I don't know. In the last, in the recent times, last year or two, we've had Cannondale big recall, we've had Specialized big recall, Bianchi recall, and then a whole bunch of other little minor problems as well. So at what point is this going to be taken seriously? It's like, anyway, I'll read the latest from the BMC. This is off the Cycling Weekly web page. So they did a bit of a thing on it on this BMC. BMC has issued a voluntary recall for the Team Machine SLR01 disc fork. One of these, which I'll show you in a bit. It's asking all owners of 2018 and 19 complete bicycles to take them to the BMC dealer for further inspection. This recall only affects specific Team Machine SLR01 disc bikes from 2018 and 2019. So 2020 models are exempt. BMC has identified a technical problem with a part of the fork, which now means that retailers must carry out safety checks. Even though the numbers of such cases remain very low, BMC has decided to recall all Team Machine SLR01 disc bikes from those model years, I said. In a very few cases, the steerer tube can crack during regular use and potentially snap. A broken steerer could result in the rider losing control of their bike, crashing and potentially suffering injuries. A broken steerer could result in the rider losing control of the bike, crashing and potentially suffering injuries. How do you control a bicycle with a broken steerer? So it's not could result, it will result. You cannot control a bicycle with a steerer separated. You can't steer, you can't control a bicycle. As BMC is concerned about the potential, albeit very rare risk, it is asking all owners to stop riding the bike immediately and to take it directly to their local BMC retailer. The potential, albeit very rare risk. It might be very rare, but if it happens to you, it's a bad day. It's a very bad day. Usually when a fork steerer fails, the next thing to hit the ground is your head. It's a bad day. I'm currently involved in a couple of expert witness cases, one where the person died, another where he was quite badly injured. There was another coroner's report I was involved with last year, fork failure. It wasn't the steerer, it was the legs, but the coroner's report, so the rider died. If these companies are so concerned about the rider's safety, why don't they do inspections before they unleash their parts into the market? Once again, I find flaws in forks all the time. Some of them are critical, some of them are not so critical, but the flaws are there. So, these are in customers' forks. So a person buys a second-hand bike, or they've had a crash, they can't find any damage, they bring it in, we do a scan. in cases then we find manufacturing faults. I then refer those manufacturing faults back to the brand and say, these are the issues that I've found. I found voids in the steerer or in the leg or in the crown or whatever. These are the issues that I found. Go back to the brand. In a lot of cases, my customer comes back to me and goes, I've spoken to brand X, well, I won't say brand X because brand X is actually a brand. I've spoken to the brand and they say, Luescher doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no problem. Your fork is safe. And then 3 months, 6 months, whatever later, they do a global recall on the fork for steerer failures. So it's like, these are serious issues. It's like the last few videos I've done have all been on forks. You can probably tell in the tone of my voice, it's quite depressing that it's almost 2020. Carbon forks have been around for close to 30 years. I remember the Kestrel EMS carbon fork, which was one of the first mainstream forks, and that was, I think, Gianni Bugno won the World Championships road race in 1991 or something like that, I believe, on that fork. Carbon legs, steel steerer in those days. They also did a titanium steerer version. They've been around for a long time, these forks. Almost 30 years, and we're still having to do big recalls on products. Anyway, this is the BMC fork in question, the SLR01 disc. This particular fork has got a crack in the steerer. So you can see areas marked in yellow. It's also got some foam insert here, which when, as part of the failure, that actually, you can see it's come through it's popped out of the end, so it hasn't really served its compression purpose that well. So I mean, this fork, it was involved in a crash, this one, so I don't know other specifics on it. But what is a concern from a design point of view, in my opinion, is having this reduced section and these sharp corners. So where by basically necking it down and having, instead of being a round tube now, it is like, it's a squashed, effectively squashed round tube with sharp corners. So, and those sharp corners, you try and avoid sharp corners on composites because you actually got to get fibre around that corner, and you can't get fibre around tight corners. The fibre's got stiffness, so it's got a minimum radius that it can actually bend around the corner without fracturing. And so by doing a tight corner, you're inviting problems. It's also got some, down in this region here, there's some problems with some resin on the surface, a bit of compaction problems here. So I haven't scanned the rest. So I might cut this fork open if I get a chance. But yeah, I mean, this fork was scrapped from that, so didn't investigate any further. So we'll leave it at that. I've spoken long enough. I'm quite depressed about the whole industry as a whole in terms of their quality processes. That I've been talking about this for such a long time, and yet we still go round and round in circles. The same things still keep popping up. So anyway, I hope if you've got a BMC bike that's affected by the recall, you get treated in a civil manner, and you get you get a replacement that hopefully is safer than the original, and hopefully too many people haven't been hurt by this. Okay, see you next time. Bye.